This is a happy Tuesday. It's about 4:42 in the a.m. Assalamu alaikum. This is your boy Musa Asakar bringing you that heat like I always do. So please, you already know, hit that like, share, and subscribe. Hit that like, share, and subscribe button. You'll be left in that loop every time the boy drop them videos. You feel me? Yo, I gotta give shouts out to all the black manosphere out there, man. All the worthy YouTubers before me who putting it down, who is putting it down right now currently. So shout out to them, the Ticket TVs, the Carcinos, the Kwame Browns, the Kevin Samuels. I mean, the O'Shea Duke Jacksons. There's so many worthy men out there. The Brother Ben X's. You know what I'm saying? The Captain Tazarias, Captain Chatatai. Man, hey, man. I just love me some black YouTube. You feel me? Well, recently we had a situation here going on. Is it about a week and a half now? About Sha Carri Richardson and us smoking weed thing and not being able to race. Well, I'm sure she knew the rules and all that. And people are not having any mercy, man. The rules are the rules. The rules are the rules. The rules are the rules. I understand that, but you go deal with the death of the one who brought you into this earth. How would you cope with it? And she came up with it and she said, I accept the apology. I do all this, I do all that. You know what I'm saying? 100. And some people still want to skeet on her. You know what I'm saying? Just throw venom at her. But hey, I'm going to read this copyright disclaimer, and we're going to cook into this audio I got of Jamell Hill and the ABC News talking about the situation towards black women in the Olympics. Is it a conspiracy? Or what is it? You tell me. You tell me. Uncle Bobby B, baby. Uncle Bobby B. Like I said, shout out to them worthy men on YouTube. Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976. Allowances made for fair use of purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, and scholarship, and research. Fair use is use permitted by the copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Non-profit, educational, or personal use tips to balance in favor of fair use. So let's go ahead and cook on this particular topic. Jamell Hill on Sha Carri Richardson's suspension. Olympic rules and fallout at ESPN. There's a lot going on, man. There's a lot of smoke going on. So get your blunts or get your popcorn or do whatever you need to do and get situated. Check it out.
Tokyo Olympics and some controversy actually before the games begin later this month. Last week, American sprinter Sha Carri Richardson was suspended for a month after testing positive for a chemical found in cannabis. She's acknowledged she smoked marijuana to cope with the death of her mother, and she says she accepts the punishment. She will not be able to compete in the 100-meter dash at the Olympics. This comes after the International Swimming Federation barred the use of certain swim caps designed for use by athletes of color. That's led to much like the. She says she accepts the punishment. She will.
I had to rewind that back again. I meant to pause it, but why is it always an athlete of color? No, black. And I'm glad Jamell Hill's about to, she ain't explain it, but she's gonna say black, not women of color, because women of color do not take. We can have the same hue. I know a lot of people that's West Indian and whatnot. African same hue, but they don't want that smoke. They don't fit that smoke. They don't fit that description. They don't fit that description that the pain is going to. So let's cook. A little repeat, but it's all good.
She will not be able to compete in the 100-meter dash at the Olympics. This comes after the International Swimming Federation barred the use of certain swim caps designed for use by athletes of color. That's led to allegations that some Olympic rules are written in a way that can lead to discrimination. We're joined now by Jamell Hill, a contributor and writer for The Atlantic. She is also host of Jamell Hill is Unbothered on Spotify.
Hey.
Good morning, Jamell. Always good to see you. I know that you recently tweeted about the Olympics and said this is sending a, quote, message to Black women. What message is that you think the Olympics is sending?
Well, thank you, ladies, for having me. But when you look at the full scope of what we see happening at the Olympics, Simone Biles is probably the face of this Olympic Games, at least from an American perspective. And then you have the controversy around Gwen Berry. You fast forward to what happened with Sha Carri Richardson. Now you have this swim cap ban that obviously affects athletes of color, obviously is an impediment to young Black swimmers. And so there obviously affects athletes of color.
Well, she did say athletes of color too, but nah, Jamell, it's black.
There obviously is an impediment to young Black swimmers. And so there is something that is there, and you wonder about these old school attitudes and how they have always, in many ways, disproportionately impacted athletes of color, but in particular Black people, because that's who we're talking about here.
You know that the World Anti-Doping Agency has listed marijuana as a banned substance. We know, too, that it's been legalized in nearly 20 states. Do you think that it's time to have a conversation about what gets banned when it comes to something like this? Even, you know, the president's press secretary was asked about Sha Carri Richardson, and they acknowledge she's a phenomenal athlete. She has an inspiring story, but obviously she will not be competing, and she's one of the world's fastest women.
And Jamell, it's not, as you know, a performance-enhancing drug either.
No, unless you have a bag of Doritos at the finish line. Like, I don't know if it is. But what I would say is that you have to look at why is this rule in place, and it seems to be more of a perception issue than actually going with what is the science. I mean, the fact is, in 40 countries, there is some form of legalized marijuana. We know where the attitudes are moving in the states, and so much like the professional leagues in America, the NFL, the NBA, Major League Baseball, there's a reason they've all relaxed their standards. It has been used as pain management, and talking about marijuana. It is used in terms of coping mentally, and there are many athletes that came forward after what happened with Sha Carri Richardson to say that it helps them with their anxiety. And I think we would much rather this alternative than, I don't know, alcohol or any other sort of form of any other dangerous substance. I mean, considering all this young lady has been through, we need to be happy the only thing she did was smoke weed.
Just because it's a rule doesn't mean it's right, and maybe we all need to look at the rules, because many of them seem to be very outdated and seem to be hurting Black women in particular.
Yeah, I mean, I think when we assess generally what has been our drug policy in this country, we know who it disproportionately affects.
I was thinking about that swim cap rule. I wasn't even aware of that.
Yeah.
Can we talk about the fallout that's going on over at ESPN right now, a year after the audio surfaced of Rachel Nichols talking about Maria Taylor? Can you briefly tell us what that's about and your thoughts on it? You worked at ESPN. You know the shop very well.
Yeah, I worked there for 12 years. I know both of these women, and
they're both very good. We should say they're both very good at what they do. Yeah.
Yes, they're both very good. Both very admired and professionally by a lot of people in this business, and essentially in a private conversation that was that a lot of people at ESPN heard because it was on a company server. Rachel said some very disparaging things about Maria, and there was an assignment that was promised to her contractually, and that assignment was going to go to Maria, and kind of all hell is broken loose. And listen, Gail, you've been in TV for a long time. We know that what happens behind the scenes is a very competitive business. Sometimes it does not bring out the best in people, and I think here what needs to be addressed is culturally how these things happen, like what is allowed to persist in certain workplaces. And I think I'm disappointed in the fact that, Maria has this very high profile job. It's great to see a Black woman have a job like that. It just does not seem like the company support was there. the fact that they would promise this assignment to Rachel Nichols, I mean, this is Maria's job. Like, why would you even do that to begin with? Because the person who hosts NBA Countdown usually does the finals. So to me, that's some kind of indication that the support for Maria hasn't been there from the beginning, and that's a problem.
Yeah, I took the comments more disparaging against ESPN than I did to Maria.
Well, but here's the other thing that this touches on. I mean, I think black women, especially black people in the workplace, we get a little tired of somebody insinuating that the reason that we have a job is because we're black.
Yes, we do.
You know, that gets very tiresome. And I know that, you know.
Well, I mean, in some cases, in the hard jobs, like the jobs nobody want to do. Oh, now you talking about the field I play in. I play in that warehouse field. I play in that warehouse field. Raise your hands, bro. Raise your hands. Do you the job that nobody don't want to do, and it's some hard ass work? Who get them jobs? Who get them jobs? Who do about 4, 5 other people 5 jobs at one? Who does that? Or maybe it's just me.
You know, especially in this business, especially in sports where you don't see a lot of black women in the role that Maria is in, she hears that 100 times a day.
Yes.
And so to hear that from a colleague, another woman, I can imagine that would be very harmful and hurtful for her.
And it is tiresome. You're right about
Jamell, have you spoke to either of the women?
I have not. I mean, listen, Maria and I have a good relationship, and what I don't want to do is be one of these people that's hitting her up when there's a whole lot of mess out there. I'll wait till things quiet down, and I'll reach out to her. But some of the
That's 100, man. But God, hey, hellified topics, something to talk about. I mean, you know, then she did that a while ago, but she tested up for it. I mean, that shouldn't diminish her from running, man. I feel like it in the workplace. Now, you know, can Sha Carri Richardson rule be thrown in the warehouse too? I think so. Anyway, like, share, and subscribe. Hit that notification bell. You be left in that loop. Peace.